Hey everybody, welcome to my next video on marginal benefit curves. This is another precursor to my resource allocation problem, but it takes place after my marginal net benefits video, which is up in the corner and down in the description. So we've got this graph here, and there's a lot going on with it. One of the questions I'm going to want to ask is, why is the marginal net benefit curve for period 2 upward sloping while it's downward sloping for period 1? So notice that's downward sloping, that's upward sloping, but they're both marginal net benefits. So why the difference? Well, let me highlight for you this idea. In period 1, we're measuring it from left to right. Quantity is getting bigger and bigger. Period 2, quantity is increasing from right to left. So it's not so much that the slope is different, so much as that the graph is like two different graphs with a mirror image of each other. They're pictures of the same concept, but one of them is flipped on its axis to give us a different view of it. Now, where does this all come from? As I stated in my other video, the marginal net benefits curve comes from the area between the marginal benefits and the marginal costs in the market. It's measuring the increases in total surplus in our market. So if for a given quantity, the gap between marginal cost and marginal benefit would be the marginal net benefits for that quantity. And it's downward sloping for MNB 1 because as I increase my quantity from 0 up to 100, my contributions to that area get smaller and smaller. The height between the two curves gets less and less. Likewise, as I increase quantity from 0 to 100, my additional increases in net benefit get smaller and smaller until they eventually reach 0 at the equilibrium value. And then all of that can be reversed for marginal net benefit, only it's going backwards. So quantity increases that way and it goes down to 0. Now, with that in mind, a little bit of a precursor before we introduce net present value and such. Why is it that we are interested in this kind of point? The idea where the two marginal net benefit curves are equal to each other. So I want to plot this on both graphs. Let's put a 75 here and a 75 here. Pretend those are symmetrical. Now, if I consume 75, then all of this stuff, net benefit, and all of this stuff is net benefit. Now, what happens if in period 1 we consume more than this? Say, for example, we consume 80, leaving only 70 for the other time period. Well, what I'm seeing is that the marginal net benefits for period 2 are higher than the marginal net benefits for period 1. Now, how can that be? Well, I am adding smaller areas in my triangle in period 1, and I am losing larger areas in period 2. So the gains in period 1, as shown by this chunk, are outweighed by the losses in period 2, as shown by moving back to this. Let's show another version of it. What if we had period 1 decreasing production? Maybe, let's say, just for example, to 60, leaving 90 for period 2. Well, that would show us the marginal net benefits for period 1 are higher than the marginal net benefits for period 2. Why is that? Well, if we look at our graph, if we decrease from the blue 75 to the green 60, we will lose a huge amount of our area. But if we are over here and we go from 75 up to 90, we only gain a little bit of area. And so the way we find the optimal trade-off is by finding this point where the marginal net benefits between time periods are equal to each other. And if we deviate from that point, the losses to one time period will be greater than the gains in the other time period. So the overall effect will be a loss for society. Now in the next video, we're going to mess around with this more, and we'll introduce the idea of discounting the marginal net benefits for period 2, so we don't value them as much. And we'll also talk about how to implement policy to help us get to the optimal point. So that's all I got for now. Watch another one if you wanna. I hope it'll help. Good luck, guys, and thanks for watching.